This podcast is going to blow your mind. He's on track to do 90 million. Let's talk about kind of some of the steps that got you there.
I'd make in a day what it took me a week at the restaurant to make.
Yeah.
Hustling doubles, you know.
I don't think people realize that.
And the trick of it is that you cannot show any weakness to your people, at least, you know.
And as a business owner, nobody tells you that. How'd you get 200 reps quickly?
We have always been willing to scale. We pretty much only hire setters. Sales is a science, it's not an art. That's how we do the sales process, but we can teach anybody to do this.
And that's how you've scaled. What's up? Welcome to the D2D podcast. We got Levi Henrie in the house.
That's right.
It's good to be back. And before I bring him on, guys, all I got to say is this podcast is going to blow your mind because it's fun to have different industry than your typical solar, pest, roof.
That's right.
But it also is cool to see he has produced more Golden Door winners this year than anyone so far. And we're in right now, beginning of August. So you might have some companies end of summer start hitting kind of some strides, but they're staying way ahead of it. They're the second most Golden Door winners in the entire country last year with 14. Goals to have 20 this year. That's right. And on track to do 90 million. And you haven't been in business that long. So
nope. How
long have you been doing this?
We opened up in April of 2020.
So think about this, guys. He's on track to do 90 million. You've opened, you started April of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. You launch a window company. Now, how many reps do you have?
I took a count the other day. It was about 200. 200
active salespeople doing retail windows. Guys, think about this. It's not like a bill swap in solar.
No.
It's not like a satellite. Let me swap you. It's not a takeover in alarms where it's $50 a month.
No insurance.
No insurance that's like, let me pay just your deductible. This is a retail 90 million in revenue. You have to hit 2 million in revenue to do Golden Door, which is hard. Like, it's not an easy feat. And he already has 6 this year that have hit it, which is more than any other company. So super big props. If that doesn't give, what's the word, like hope to every new entrepreneur or even just like old entrepreneur, it's like, dude, I've been doing this for 20 years and we're not even doing 9 million, which there are people probably listening to this. Let's talk about kind of some of the steps that got you there. So how long did you do windows or door-to-door or background in this before you actually...
Yeah, so I had done windows for about a year and a half previous to launching our own company. And then one little summer at Pest Control about 4 years before that.
That's it?
Yeah.
What'd you do other than that? Like, where'd you get your entrepreneurial leadership? Like, I mean, it takes a unique individual to manage multi-states in 3-4 years. You know what I mean? Like you had to have some background.
Nah, man, it's this whole story. I went to college at Utah State, thought I wanted to be a lawyer. So then I went for a year of law school at University of Texas, dropped out, waited tables, drove Uber, just the average. Yeah, did what I had to do to keep the lights on, but no special background per se.
That is awesome. Utah, you based out of Utah, but like born and raised here? Or?
No, I'm a military brat. So my dad flew choppers in the Air Force. I grew up largely in Florida, also in Wyoming and New Mexico.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So how'd you do in pest control? I just want to you did one summer of pest control.
Yeah. So it's kind of an involved story. That was like 4 years before I got back into door-to-door. Second time in door-to-door, a little bit more grown man vibes, a little more mature outlook. And also with some acceptance that I was doing this to pay the bills. When you get in as I was 23. I say that like that's super young. Frankly, I should have been more grown.
Yeah. No, but I'm just trying to put realness to like the vision here because I think that's important.
Yeah. I think I was getting in with I'm doing this, but this is just to pay law school tuition. So, you're like doing a job, but also inwardly saying you're a little too good for this while you do it, which is a killer. I fight that now.
I'm in door-to-door. But I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
This is just to pay for law school.
I have something else in my future. And I actually, there's good, big companies right now who that's like their branding is. Door-to-door is a vehicle to get you some other place where you're going. So we help set you up. I preach against that all the time. I'm like, no, I suppose it could be a vehicle, but you can also just stay, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Up level, bring honor and integrity, make this industry cool.
Yeah. It's something you can be proud of. But anyway, I suppose I was okay at pest control for being a new rookie. I remember having, I think I had the first 3 day, the first 5 day by rookies in my office. So I was fine. You know, I sold with Donnie. You probably know Donnie.
Yeah.
Sold the first year Active was Active.
I almost recruited Donnie to
Yeah.
Vivint. It was between me and Vivint, or me and Active. I was at Vivint. And yeah, you might have worked with us then.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah.
Roles reversed.
No, they were good times, but it wasn't the right time in my life. I didn't have a mature enough outlook for it, I don't think.
So what changed to make you want to get back into door-to-door 4 years later and do windows? Because that was kind of an interesting, I'm sure you were getting recruited back into pest or back into alarms or something.
Kind of. So you know, like I said, I'd kind of gone through the ringer of like career turmoil, doing some law school, then quitting, then doing a whole bunch of really tough stuff to try to pay bills. So then I'm working at this restaurant in St. George. A dude who was the bartender there had previously sold alarms. I'd previously sold pest control. We were like, hey, dude, we're both broke. So we were like, let's try to find something we can do where, and you know, this is super like scared young kid mindset. We were like, maybe we can find something where we could go set some solar deals in Vegas during the week and then still work the weekends at 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 where we worked. That was our thought. And he thought he knew a guy. So I checked back with him a couple days later. I was like, hey, did you talk to that guy? He was like, no, but I found something better. My old friend who I used to party with came in. He's doing this window thing. Here's how it works. So that's how I got looped in.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So did that 1.5 years good right away? And like, what made you want to just start your own?
Dude, I was pretty much good right away. I won't lie. You know, super motivated by then. I was grown, married, had a kid. We were expecting our second, had bills to pay. Remember I set 5 appointments in my first like 90 minutes.
Wow.
So I was just stoked and grateful, you know, because I'd make in a day what it took me a week at the restaurant to make.
Yeah.
Hustling doubles, you know. But yeah, you know, I was the second salesperson over there. There was the boss, his one friend who kind of dabbled, and then I was the next after that. Just start crushing it immediately, bring in some friends. My old boss trains me to close, so then I'm kind of like the closer running the team of setters. It's the first time we have a bona fide team over there. And yeah, man, it just kind of takes off. We start hustling some big numbers down there in St. George. Eventually I move up to Lehigh to like open a branch for that company, Lehigh branch. And that was kind of its own struggle over again. I went broke again because, you know, we didn't really have the process built out. So I go to open this branch as like a transplant, but we don't know how to do Indeed. And I didn't bring anybody. So it's me self-genning, trying to just organic recruit people from the gym or people I see in Hood or whatever it may be. Eventually do it. I found one kid out in Hood selling pest control, got him. Found another dude out in Hood selling roofs, got him. Build up to another little team. But to answer your question of why we eventually left, you know, I got tons of respect for my old boss. We talk frequently. But you know, there was some things he was supposed to follow through on that he rug pulled and wanted to make his brother my boss.
Yeah.
A bunch of other stuff, so we left. Long story short.
And so you start your own thing. What were some of the maybe hardships that you weren't expecting now becoming, you know, kind of basic manager to now CEO?
Yeah. Well, you know, first and foremost, cash flow is difficult immediately. You, at least the way we do it, we pay upfront pretty much in full. Window deals are tough to cancel, so you can do that. But you owe these commissions up front. You have to make a deposit on your windows up front. And of course, you're a brand new company, so you have zero credit from the supplier.
Yeah.
So they want everybody wants all their money up front, but you're collecting half or in some cases even zero down. Right?
Wow.
So you just run into that. And then as you're growing, you know, you would think, oh, but 3 months later you're installing deals, you get paid and it's cool. It's like, well, unless you grew a lot, then the back ends on those deals can't even fund the front ends on your
new deals,
on your 2 times as big month right now. So yeah, we were hosed perpetually for like a year.
And I don't think people realize that.
It's
like
tough.
People are like, I want to grow. I'm like, do you have money to grow? Do you realize you get more broke the more you grow sometimes, because you have to front this money with the money that you then sold. So you're just outselling yourself in growth. Like at some point, sometimes it's like nice. Like I remember some people were like, man, we lost a bunch of people. We're finally catching up on our pipeline installs and we're actually making money. Like, you know what I mean? And as a business owner, nobody tells you that. Nobody tells you like all these things that you're like, oh, I wish somebody would have like kind of given me the warning on like cash flow and accounting. And
it's tough, man. I was, you know, broke a third time. I had 50 G's on a credit card. And the trick of it is that you cannot show any weakness to your people, at least, you know?
Yeah.
You know, these days everybody wants to say, oh, you got to be vulnerable. We got all this be in touch with your feelings stuff. I'm in favor, but that's, you know, that's for your wife. That's for the therapist. That's not for
your people.
Your people, yeah. So what you have to do, you know, you go in the morning, you look at your bank account that's like zero. You take a call from an angry customer who knows you're a new company and is trying to kill you in the cradle. And then you put a big smile on your face and you go run your meeting.
Yes.
You know, it's tough.
So let's talk through, like, how'd you get 200 reps quickly? I mean, obviously, I think you alluded to something that I think a lot of people may have overlooked, which is I saw 2 guys in Hood and I went up and talked to them and I recruited them. Mm-hmm. But like, what kind of track record, or how did you start growing at this pace that you did, opening new markets to, you know, having a couple hundred reps, where a lot of people, they just are on this hamster wheel of hire a couple, lose a couple, hire a couple, lose a couple. And it's like, they can't get more than 5-10 guys, you know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always been a non-negotiable for me that anybody I see knocking doors, I will recruit them. I will at least shoot the shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think our promise at Performance Windows, well, you know, first off, it's funny because it was only like a year and a half, but this is a new industry. At the point in time we launched our company, me and Kyle were arguably the GOATs of door-to-door window sales, if not in the top 3 or 4. So I think the promise of Performance Windows is no matter who you are, you come here, we will train you to be good. We'll train you to be good, period, because we're good. And then as we grow, you will never, ever be capped because, you know, sometimes, especially in setter closer models, there's this conflict of interest where it's like, oh, well, if we train you to close deals, who's going to set for me? We have always been willing to scale. 1, because we want to, but 2, because we want to give our people opportunities to do the next thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I found, like, you know, I at Solcius had a bunch of setters, bunch of closers, and there was that struggle, you know what I mean? And you're just like, crap, like I lost my 2 best setters to closing. We dipped in sets and all the closers are bitching now.
Yeah.
Like, dude, go knock your own. Like, how do you balance that? Like, you know, recruiting, getting new blood, but like keeping volume high, but then closers are like, well, dude, if you gave me 5 appointments every day, I'd freaking close them all.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, first, just as a non-negotiable, your closers always have to be willing and able to set. I'm not saying that there has to be some type of hard cap minimum. You know, if you have 5 setters and you just go appointment to appointment, great. But then when it dries up, there can't be any wailing and gnashing of teeth about it. You know, it changed and that's done. So now you go knock. But I also think you can kind of ease those transitions just with some foresight. So, you know, like I've been through this plenty now. So when I see a closer whose setters are good, and, you know, good for him, he has good setters, but they're going to transition to closing themselves soon, I say, hey, first off, you need to start recruiting hard right now. Also, let's think about those guys recruiting and let's transition you to manager of an office here pretty, you're going to have 3 closers who all have 4 setters. Boom. Why should you not have an office? If you're going to sit around and cry about being a closer without appointments anymore, we're thinking small.
Ooh,
you ought to have an office.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's how you've scaled. Now, how many offices do you have?
12.
12 offices over various amount of states. Basically.
Yeah, 7 states.
7 states.
Mm-hmm.
And just so that if you're listening or watching this, like, what's so interesting about that is so many people think there's growing pains that come with that, right? But like, I hope that like gives insight into a roofer or a solar guy or whatever. So like, walk me through that kind of promotion process. You get a guy like that, you sell him on this, dude, you should be managing. What's next? Like, how do you kind of move that to like, all right, let's open a new state, or, oh, okay, let's add another team. Like, how does that happen?
We try to keep it as objective as we can. And that goes for all promotions. With only a few exceptions, we pretty much only hire setters. We only hire closers from the setter group, and we only hire managers from the closer group. So, if you're a closer wanting to be a manager of an office, you don't have to worry about lateral hires getting that spot instead of you. But you are also going to have to meet the criteria to do it yourself. So I guess we kind of ease those transitions just by, the criteria that you have to hit to make that next spot are the precise things that are going to make you good at that next spot and able to do it.
Yeah.
So it works.
So it's like you won't be good until you learn how to do good at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Why would I have you? And how many times do you find, you're recruiting a solar dude or whatever, and it's like, I wouldn't set, like, I just give me appointments. I was a closer over here. And
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many times you find, like, oh, I managed a team here. It's like, but you didn't manage a team here. And holding that line, like you said, very, very, very few exceptions, because when you home grow these groups, how much more loyal, how much more appreciative to the setter, like they care about the setter.
Well, and they keep our system tight because they did all of our roles within that system, So the way we do it, the closer manages the setters. So coming straight in as a closer, you actually may be able to close appointments, like, to be super honest, but you couldn't manage the setters right because you have to go teach them to do it. So
how do you balance that where it's like, I'm so busy, I got 4 appointments, and now I'm neglecting some of the setters?
Yeah. They just do.
Figure it out. Yeah, because I always say pick your poison.
Yeah.
Right? So many people are like, should I do a setter closer model? Should I do a self-gen model? And I'm always like, pick your poison. And this is why I'm picking this apart, because it's like, man, it is hard. And I think, and then you're a manager, but you're still supposed to sell. And now you're like, you know what I mean? So there's like all these layers.
I guess you could also say that's where some of the layers of leadership come in, because, if we truly have a scenario where a closer is so busy he can't even train his setters, presumably we're all making good money there, so we're fine with it. And that's where the manager steps in, our regionals step in, me and Kyle step in. So there's people available to pinch hit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about culture, because like right at the gate, you obviously are high performers, you and Kyle. How did you maintain that across all of your teams, your groups? Because obviously to have the most golden doors, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Those guys are making hella money. It's hard to hit in retail. Like, how'd you maintain this high culture maybe when you're not as selling as much as maybe you were right in the first year?
I think it's all just one-to-one training. So, for instance, our guys who are 2 regionals right now, Matt and 𝐬𝐫𝐫, big shout out. Me and Kyle taught them a lot of stuff personally ourselves right in the beginning. Matt set deals that I closed as the closer. And then when I was a manager, Matt was one of the big closers in that office. So it's all just passing things down one-to-one, but keeping it tight, not allowing the 1 degree deviation. And then 3 or 4 iterations later, all of a sudden it looks like something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big believer in this. This is kind of a hot take. Sales is a science. It's not an art.
Yeah.
Not an art whatsoever. And I'm, that's going to make some people mad because they really love the idea that they're an artist and that their creativity gets them sales. And I have 12 different rebuttals for this objection and 12 different rebuttals for that objection. But the way I see it, one of them is better than the others. That's the one we ought to do. Even if you think that the other one is better, it's probably just because you practice that one more. If you practice the better one, that's going to work better. So we have reduced it down to the minimum amount of moving parts possible, such that it can be reproduced very easily.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like when I wrote the book, ABCs of Closing, and that was like the concept. I was like, what if you could just science this? It's like A plus D equals close.
Yeah.
In this scenario, use the F plus Z equals close.
Yeah.
Like it's just like say these things.
Exactly. And that's how we do the sales process, but that's even how we do the managing stuff. Like our managers, they're capable and talented, but sometimes they need some assistance, and they'll reach out to me and I'll just be like, dude, there's only like 5 real problems in this job, and I can think of like 4 to 8 trainings. It's just match this to that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You think of like your reps are going to be demotivated. They're going to be distracted. You know what I mean? Like they're going to competitor your scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bad nonverbals, bad objections, not hitting enough doors.
Not hitting. Yeah. They're just not working.
Yeah. There's like 5 things, and like 5 to 7 things that you might say.
It's so true.
Match A to B.
A to B.
Yeah.
It's like, we need you to start writing our manuals. We'll have like the Sam Taggart version, and then we'll have the Levi version. It's more of like you can read it in the toilet in one day.
Yeah. Me and Kyle and our regionals all draft our manuals, but I edit. That's me.
He's like, say it down to nothing.
Yeah.
Love that. So what excites you? Like what drives you to continue to scale, to grow, to, you're kind of pioneering a new industry.
Thanks.
Guys, Levi, just so you know, like they do 50% probably of all of the country's windows.
Door-to-door
windows.
Yeah.
Like obviously you have like Renewal by Anderson, or you have like big window companies, but they're not like door-to-door squads that are like millions a month, right? So I think like, when you pioneer something, you have to have something greater that's driving you. There's not like, let me copy this and follow this playbook and do it like they did it. You know what I mean? So like what pushes you? What?
I think I just know what this job did for me because I was in a tough spot. So it's just kind of gratitude and, my thing, aside from just like being competitive and wanting to win, the more kind of sentimental reason is I take a lot of joy in helping young people, especially if you've got people that you got to provide for, to be able to learn a skill where you can do it.
Yeah.
Because a big part of our thing is, and lots of respect to these other verticals, but there's a lot of D2D things that a person can sell where I feel like their business model is just attracting top talent where, I don't know, like, in some cases they really are just a little bit built different.
Yeah.
By all means, I want those guys, but I've always said we can teach anybody to do this. So to do what we do, at least. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about, is helping people who don't have a ton of options to go crush it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I see who you guys have as golden doors. You're like, that guy got a golden door, that scrawny little dude, or that chick. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, wow, like impressive. Like, people that you wouldn't naturally think even as your typical sweet bro, muscled out, you know what I mean? No. Like you've got a lot of just variety in your company. Like you have the old dudes, you got the young bucks, you've got, which is a lot to say. Like that's
got really a bunch of girls, two girl golden door winners.
2
this year.
Already.
Yeah.
Like 2 of your 6 are females, which is so cool.
We got plenty of like the, like Utah LDS door-to-door lineage people, but we got dudes we found on Indeed in Florida and Texas and all kinds of stuff. So
just so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. So let's talk to like that first year rep. You obviously can rewind to Pest and rewind to your first window job, but like, right now it's August and a lot of them are kind of going through, maybe we'll call it end of August, September, they're kind of doing maybe the summer season push. What advice? And Windows is kind of year round. Do you kind of do it seasonal? But
very year round.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it's kind of a year round marathon versus a sprint. But I'm assuming a big piece of your production comes during the summer.
Yeah, you can say that. You get I don't know if weather even affects us, but we definitely just like lose days for all the holidays.
Yeah, daylight, holidays, hours, etc. Right? Like, so how do you get people to see the importance of August and September, like these last solid daylight months, people home, you're not in the holidays yet? How do they see this as important? Like, why is this important?
You know, I think my big mantra is that we do it for pride. We do it every day just because that's who we are and that's what we do. It doesn't matter the day. You know, it's funny, like sometimes when you're trying to gas up some kind of incentive, you say that this day, week, or month is special, but if that's true, then there's also got to be non-special days, weeks, and months. My thing is like, no, they're all we grind hard all of the days because that's who we are.
Love that.
Period.
It's more of an identity.
Yeah, it's an identity. It's an identity, and again, it's because we take pride in it, because we have gratitude about what we're able to do, gratitude to be able to be a good earner, in some people's cases, a good provider. So whatever it is.
Which I think is so special. Like so many people are like, oh, I'll just go blitz for 10 days. And it's like, why don't you just blitz every day? Like, what are you going to do the other days? Chill? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can still have balance, but it's like, what if you just consistently worked? Yeah.
And I mean, I was raised by like, you know, honestly, my dad's like just a little bit neurotic and he raised me to be the same. So I'm one of those people who like, if I was home at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, I'd be like, ooh, how embarrassing. I hope nobody sees me here.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to leave. So not everybody's quite like I am, but you know, there's like, you know, I think of one of those dumb memes you see online, like, you know, my grandpa at 17 in 1943 and he's flying like fighter jets, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like me, 28 years old, talking about anxiety, unable to hit the first door. It's like, dude. So
yeah, it's like,
that's kind of where I come from with it.
Love that. Yeah. I love that. So obviously you've been to 𝐷oorDoorCon how many years? I mean, most years, right?
I think 4 now. Yeah.
4 years. Yeah. You've had your own share of Golden Doors to now you have Golden Doors. How has that event and maybe even award helped drive that culture?
You know, man, it's, I guess kind of the flip side of my little every day is a special day, nothing's ever different mantra is that sometimes we don't slow down to, you know, claim the W, take the victory lap and celebrate.
Yeah.
So it's important to do that. It's important to do that. We always make a whole event out of it because we'll do door-to-door con, we'll do our company meeting, and then right after that is our big incentive trip. So January is just
fun.
Yeah, it's fun, dude.
Yeah, and it's like you have to, like, that's why we do it at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that pride of like we have more, you know, you've obviously alluded to this competitiveness. We want to win. That's what gets you out of bed. Like you're obviously a power lifter. You've competed in that. You've competed in other athletes. But like it's this element of like something to compete for. Yeah, I think is important. And I wouldn't be shocked if you had the first window double Golden Door this year. If you
we had one once.
You had one? Okay.
Yeah. Jake Richards like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, Jake. I forgot about that. Jake hit it.
But I think we'll have another this year. But yeah, man, you know, winners keep score.
Yeah.
That's what they always say. It's easy to say, as long as you're trying, it's all that matters. And I see some virtues to that, but I also see some virtues to winning.
Yeah, winning. Like I love the Tim Grover mentality. It's like, or like Ed Milet. It's like we don't play golf to just like play golf. It's like, kid, it's so much more fun. Playing is fun. I get it. Winning is even more fun.
Yeah.
This is plain simple.
Yeah, got to.
And there's a way to show off, hey, we're winning. And if you don't have a way of that within your company, outside of your company, you're missing production. You're missing free energy, we call that.
Well, and probably even missing recruiting.
Yeah, recruiting class.
Again, you know, at least our kind of central mantra is we have a lot of people here who are good at this and we will teach you to also be good. So, you know, it doesn't really resonate the same way if we like didn't have any Golden Doors, for instance.
Well, you take the companies that have lit up that stage and it follows suit. Like it is very obvious how they, you know, because everybody wants to play in the NBA. It's like, cool, you played in Europe. You played in China. That's cool. Not as cool as playing in the NBA. Like, it's like, you can work there, but we just have, you get to play against Steph Curry. You get to go play with LeBron James. You get to like be on their team. Like, there's a piece to that is powerful. And everybody that's striving to make a name for themselves and have a company that does keep breaking records and things like that. It's like, he keeps using this word pride, guys. Like, listen to that. It's like, we take pride in every day. Like, we take pride in what we do. It's like, we don't have a culture of just lazy kind of, you know, whoopie doopie, work whenever.
Yeah. Finish lines. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. One day you're going to transition out of Golden Door, or not Golden Door, door to door.
Yeah.
It's like, no finish lines. We're not really, and it's funny because there's enough money that you could, but the people who just want to like work 3 years and then try to have some kind of crazy retirement, like we don't have a lot of them.
I'm like, what are you gonna do? Go get a job as a marketing manager? Or what are you gonna go do? I had a guy, he calls me, he's like, hey Sam, I want to come work for you. I was like, you just made like $900,000. I don't have a job for you.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want, a job? Like a 9 to 5? Like, you're really going to go from 900 to 150 here? Like,
yeah.
Like,
I would love to have you, but FYI, I pay this. Yeah.
I know. I was like, but go get another job. He's like, yeah, but my wife and this and travel. And I go, okay.
All right. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, girl, like, good luck, dude. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, and I think a lot of people forget like how good they have it to go make $300,000, $200,000 pretty quick, like a couple $100,000. And you don't have to be crazy good. Like, most people, to make $300,000, you need like 10 years experience with a college degree. Oh yeah. Work your way up the ladder. Like,
we're broken. You know, the door-to-door industry is broken in the head a lot of the time. I think one of the only reasons I've avoided this is because I had so many bad jobs first. A lot of my senior leaders also had bad jobs first, but you know, like the kid who starts when he's 18 or 21, fresh off a mission or something, and just immediately kills it and never doesn't kill it again. Respect, but just know there's worse things that could have happened to you, and you have been blessed, right?
You've been blessed.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't know how much longer I could do this. I'm like, maybe you need to go get a corporate America job where they tell you only get 2 weeks off.
Go dig some trenches, homie. Like, you have no idea what can happen.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
So any other like last piece of advice for the industry? Like, you know, is there any like thing that you'd want to share, or you feel like they should hear from Levi?
Ooh, you know, that art versus science thing is a big pet topic. I already kind of shot the bullet there. I guess I would just double down on, you know, be proud to be a door-to-door sales. You know, if you feel like you can't be, maybe find a different job, but be proud to be a door-to-door salesman. In most cases, at least, I believe that most of us provide valuable products to people at a reasonable price. We take all of the energy and all the thinking out of it for them. It's just, hey, I'm here, let's get it done, which there are people for whom that's a value add, right? So again, be proud when your family members ask you what you do for a living. Don't answer sheepishly. Don't tell them what you're going to do eventually. Tell them with pride, I sell XYZ door to door for ABC company.
So important. I mean, that is the original. I could show you videos in 2017 of me preaching that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what's crazy is like people forget that element of like, guys, we do something so cool. We have such a good opportunity, and there should be no shame in it. Mm-hmm. And what a blessing. More people need to know about this. And it's like to go from 0 to 200 employees or sales reps, not even employees, but like in a matter of 3-4 years, like I don't think people realize like his passion and belief in that is what created that. Mm-hmm. Versus if he's afraid to go talk to the guy in the neighborhood, to the waiter, to the guy at the gym he's talking about, because he's like, well, I don't want to like bring up the fact that we do knock doors. That's what's limiting. Where he has no shame. He's like, guys, do you want to have your life change? Because I was a bartender. I know what it's like to be broke, and I want you to be successful. Mm-hmm. And like that's what's so beautiful about what we do. Yeah. So I love that. Well, thanks for being on the show, man. Like,
Thanks,
I'm
dude.
excited to see where you finish this year. It's been fun having you in the crew and the mastermind and watching your journey from brand new rep. Guys, I helped consult that first company to see the upbringing and to just watch kind of the lineage of Windows and the innovation of it and the script changing and the market expansion. It was just a Utah thing. And then it was like, cool, let's go to all these other states. Like, so cool to see that industry up and coming. And for those that don't know, Levi has a very successful podcast.
D2D Success Stories.
So go check out his podcast, guys. A lot of really good guests. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Much love.
Yep. Thanks.
Peace.